Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, in the previous we discussed about that of the different trophic level. Now let us start to understand the other topics. Plays a very important role in it. There is a term student which is called as a biogeochemical biological magnification. What is the meaning of a biological magnification? Actually, the meaning of a biological magnification, there are some of the chemicals which is present in that of the plants. It is not washed down with the help of the soil or into that of the water bodies. So they are absorbed by the plant along with the aquatic plant and the other animals, along with the water and the minerals. Okay, so now it will be taken up by them and it will be distributed from one food chain to the other food chain, and accumulation of this chemicals, it will increases, it will progressively increases at each trophic level, and the maximum concentration of the chemicals will be accumulated to the higher carnivore. And you know, higher carnivore like tiger is there, or a lion is there, or even the human being is also there. So there is the amount, the accumulation of these chemicals will be the highest. Okay, so this is because of that. We can say here that why we do not use the pesticides or insecticides. Now what happened earlier, the DDT was used. DDT was used to students as a pesticides, and when it was released, then what happened, it this will mixes with the soil and it will be used by the plants itself. Now the plants, they used to absorb such kind of a food, and when the plants will be eaten up by the animals, and animals will be eaten up by the human being, so the accumulation of a DDT was found to be very high. Okay, so we can say here that okay, the energy keeps on decreasing at each trophic level, but the accumulation of the chemicals keeps on increasing. Similarly, when this DDT was washed up with the water, it will enter into the water bodies, which will be used up by the plants, and then it will be used up by the animals, and that animals will be eaten up by the other top animals. So there the amount of a DDT was compared with the plant, and it was found that the amount of DDT in the larger, in the higher animal was more as compared to that of the plant. So this accumulation of that of the accumulation of the concentration of the chemical in that of the higher trophic level is called as biological magnification. Okay, so we can say here that as the chemicals are not degradable, these get accumulated progressively at each trophic level. As a human being occupies the top level in the food chain, thus the maximum concentration of these chemicals get accumulated in the bodies, and this phenomena is known as biological magnification. Okay, so this is how the food used to carry that of the chemicals along with it. This is the biological magnification. Okay, so here one question is there, that is, what are the trophic level? So basically the each level which is included into that of the food chain, every level, each level is called as a trophic level, which is divided into first, second, or third, or fourth trophic level. Give an example of a food chain and state the different trophic level in it. So we can give any of the example of a food chain. It can be an aquatic food chain, it can be a terrestrial food chain, and we can divide it into the first, or the second, or third, fourth. Like we have seen right now that the grasses or the bushes, it will be eaten up by that of the deer. Okay, and this deer will be eaten up by that of the by lion. So the producer is the first trophic level, which is the grasses or the bushes. Then second trophic level is the primary consumer, which is herbivore, which is the deer, and again it will be eaten up by the lion. So lion will be the what, tertiary consumer, or third trophic level. Then what is the role of decomposer in the ecosystem? Basically, it help in cleaning that of the environment. If there will be no decomposer, so obviously there will be no such a conversion of the higher animals into the smaller one. Okay, so ultimately it will help in cleaning that of the, as well as it help in providing a nutrient to that of the soil. Okay, this is the role of the decomposers in the ecosystem. Okay, so this is about the producer, consumer, or that of the decomposers. So now we will come to the next topic. And here the topic is that how do our activities affect the environment. So basically you will see that the changes which is occurring in the environment, that is really hazardous for the environment. Okay, now see here, we have already seen everything in that of the class 9th, that how our activities it pollute the environment. And in this chapter also we are also discussing also that of the environmental problem that is occurring. And one of the factor which we have already discussed in the class 9th, that is natural resources, in which we see in the global warming or that of the ozone depletion. So here also the depletion of ozone layer or that of the waste disposal occur. Okay, so basically ozone layer and how it is getting depleted. So for this let us try to understand about the ozone layer. Basically when we talk about the ozone, so ozone is what? It is a molecule. This is a molecule which basically consisting of a 3 oxygen atom together, and the formula, as you can see here, the formula for that of the ozone is O3. Okay, is a molecule. Now if we talk about the O2, which is normally referred to as oxygen, it is essential for all the Arabic form of the life. And ozone is what? It is really poisonous. However, when it is at a higher level of the atmosphere, it will play a very important role. It means normally we are not able, this is a kind of a gas which is really harmful for us. Okay, which is really very harmful for us. Okay, which is really harmful for us. Okay, so as if we talk as such, the ozone is very good, but ozone is very poisonous, but it is really essential when it is present at a very higher altitude or at a higher level. Why is it essential? In what way we can say that ozone is a good one? Basically it acts as a shield. So it shields the surface of the earth from the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Okay, so it helps in shielding the surface of the earth from the ultraviolet radiation. What is an ultraviolet radiation? Basically ultraviolet is that a harmful radiation which is of a very high frequency enter into the earth's surface and cause a lot of a problem, a skin problem, or it will also causes a it will also causes a the skin cancer. Okay, so ultraviolet radiation is not good for the living organism, and it acts as a shield. It help in controlling the amount of ultraviolet radiation to fall on the surface. So it help in removing, in preventing the ultraviolet radiation to fall on the to reach to that of the earth's surface. So this radiation, you can see it is written that it is highly damaging to organism and it causes the skin cancer to human being also. Right. Now see here, ozone, what happened at higher level of the atmosphere, it is what? It is a product of a UV radiation which act as a O2 molecule. The higher energy UV radiation split apart some of the molecule oxygen into free oxygen O atom. Now what happened, this O2, when due to the ultraviolet radiation, when it falls on it, this O2 will be divided into O and O. Now see here student, it is really important to understand this. See here, the reaction is given. What happened when the ultraviolet oxygen molecule is present at a higher level also. So when the high frequency radiation, high frequency rays, that is the ultraviolet radiation, when fall on the oxygen atom, oxygen gas, which is O2, here it will split into two. That is Single O, it means into the free oxygen atom, right? Now this free oxygen atom, again it will combine with the O2, that is oxygen gas, which is present in the atmosphere. Ultimately, it will help in the formation of the ozone. So we can say that this is how the formation of the ozone occur. Okay, formation of the ozone molecule or formation of the ozone occur. So this is how the formation of ozone occur, and a lot of ozone in that of the atmosphere help in the formation of the ozone layer. So ultimately, this is the ultraviolet radiation which also help in the formation of the ozone layer. Now let us see that how the amount of the ozone and the atmosphere is dropping day by day. Basically, if we talk about the amount of ozone in the atmosphere, it began to drop sharply in 1980s, and the decrease it occur because of some of the synthetic chemical which is used these days, especially if we talk about here, especially that is chlorofluorocarbons. What is a chlorofluorocarbon? It is used as a refrigerant and a fire extinguisher. Okay, used as a refrigerant or used as a fire extinguisher, chlorofluorocarbon, which is represented as CFCs. Okay, and here what happened, actually what happened, this O3, you know that this O3 is made up of a O2, combination of O2 and O. So basically when the CFC is there in the atmosphere, it will react with this O3, and ultimately it will help in the breaking of the O3 into O2 and O. Now you know that by this method only the O3 is formed. O3 is formed by the combination of O2 plus O. This will form O3. But when the CF3 is there, then the combination will be just opposite, in which the O3 is breakdown into O2 plus O. Okay, so that is why we can say that the chlorofluorocarbon is responsible for the breakdown of that of the CFC gas. Now what happened, in order to prevent such kind of a problem that occur, United Nations Environment Program it is succeeded in uh, in in forging an agreement to freeze CFC production at 1986. So basically this United Nations Environmental Program, it said to reduce the use of a CFC, as it is also responsible for the ozone depletion or the thinning or the of the ozone. Okay, and you know that what will happen if the ozone layer will get depleted, ultimately it will produces a lot of problem, especially to that of the skin problem to the living organism. Now see here here see if we talk about the CFC, so CFC is not only that released by the refrigerant in the form of a refrigerant, but aerosol, air conditioner, these all used to release the CFC, which is responsible for the ozone depletion. Now let us see the next topic, and next topic is managing the garbage we produces. Now see here, visit any town or city and we are sure to find heap of garbage all over the place. Visit any place of a tourist interest. Managing the garbage we produced here. So in the earlier classes, you know that student, we have discussed about that how we can deal with the garbage. Now see, if we talk about the waste management, remember in class 8 we have discussed about the waste management, and there we have seen that there are different methods by which we can control the wastage that contribute in the formation of the garbage. So basically there are different methods, and in that the first method is the segregation. It is really important that we must understand that what are the different kind of garbages, and according to that the garbages are also divided into two. The first one is the biodegradable and second one is the non biodegradable. Talking about the biodegradable, so it is that kind of a garbage which basically degraded with the help of the microorganism. It means it can be degraded, it can be decomposed. But if we talk about the non biodegradable, it cannot be decomposed, it cannot be degraded with the help of the microorganism or either by any of the method. Okay, so there are a different method by which we can dispose of that of the garbage. So here, as you can see here, that in activity 15.8, here it is written that how much waste is generated at home in a day. So if you will see that there are a lot of different ways by which, so how much waste is generated at home in a day. We have seen a lot of waste which is generated at home. That will be a kitchen garbage, that will be the garbage, paper, vegetable peels are there, spoiled food are there. These all are the different garbages which occur, which is there in our home or which is generated. Not only this, but there are glasses, there are some old plastic are there. These are all included also in the home garbages. Okay. So how much of this waste is a biodegradable? Yes, there are waste which, especially the kitchen waste, we include it into the biodegradable. It means it can be degraded with the help of the microorganism. It can be decomposed. And calculate how much waste is generated in the classroom in a day. So obviously there are a lot, like chalk powder is there, then some of the benches which is broken, then the pages, the paper which is used by the children's. Okay, so these all are what sometimes even the tiffin also, the so the spoiled food is also included into it. The fruits, fruit peel which is eaten by the children's. Okay, so these all are what some of the waste which is generated in the classroom. And how much of this waste is a biodegradable? Obviously there are some of them which is biodegradable, some are non biodegradable. So what are the ways by which we can deal with these waste? So if we are talking about the biodegradable, we are already knowing about it, that basically there are methods like composting is there, vermicomposting is there. These all are some of the method by which we can degrade the that of the waste material. Okay, means we can convert it into the compost and use it in the form of a compost or a manure. While for the non-biodegradable method, there are ways by which we can reduce the use, or we can reuse it, or we can recycle these substances. Okay. So by this way, which we can control, we can deal with that of the non-biodegradable waste. Okay. Now, improvement in our lifestyle, which result in a greater amount of a waste material generation. Obviously, the lifestyle which we are using, especially this generation, they must know, they must be aware regarding that of the environment and the problems that is occurring because of the waste material, because of the use of the non-biodegradable waste material. Not only this, students, even you have seen in schools also, the dry leaves are there, lot of dry leaves from the trees are there, even the waste material are there, which is collected and it is burnt. But you are knowing that what we can do, so better we can use it in the form of a compost. We can dig up it and cover it with that of the leaves, and again afterwards we know that after 1 month it will be used in the form of a compost. So instead of a burning and producing air pollution, we can use it in the form of a compost. So we must change our attitude, we must be aware regarding the problems that can occur because of the garbages. We must know the differences and we must know how we can dispose of that of the biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste material. We must know that what are the impact of all these on our environment. So we must be environment friendly and we must be very much aware about the problems that is occurring in the environment because of us. Okay, because ultimately the result, whatever happened, we are going to face the problem. Now see here, there is, if you ask your parents, they will probably remember a time when a tea in train was served in plastic glasses which have to be returned to the vendor. And the introduction of the disposal cup was hailed as a step forward for reason of hygiene. No one at that time perhaps thought about the impact caused by disposal of million of these cups on a daily basis. Sometime back, Kulhar, that is a disposal cup made of a clay, was suggested as an alternative, but a little thought shows that making these kulhar on a large scale would result in loss of fertile topsoil. Now disposal paper cups are being used. What do you think are the advantages of the disposal paper cup over the disposal plastic cups? Now see here, if you talk about the disposal cup, students, especially in the train when you are traveling, there are the vendors, the tea vendors are there. They used to sell that of the tea. And earlier what happened, they used to give that tea in a plastic cup, and they used to say to keep the plastic cup so that they can dispose it off, or they can collect it and they have to dispose it. For that they used to say to the passenger to keep it with themselves, or just keep it at your seat or below to your seat. Before that, afterward it was thought that yes, plastic is non biodegradable, so there are a lot of a bad impact of the plastic. So ultimately the ban in plastic will help in the reducing the use of the plastic cups by the tea vendors. So later on the idea for the kulhad was came, and but the problem was that making a kulhad on a larger scale will going to reduce the fertility of the topsoil. Okay, so in order to reduce this problem, nowadays the people, they are using the paper cups. Okay, the paper cups, disposal paper cups are basically they are good, especially over the plastic cups, because they are disposable, they are biodegradable, and and even that will not going to affect the the fertility of the soil also. So for because of this reason, the paper cups are preferred, and we find it that it is really good, it is advantageous, it is advantage of that paper cup as it is a biodegradable, but the plastic cup is a non biodegradable. Okay, so this is about that of the chapter, students, that how we must be aware regarding our environment. Now here it is, question is, what is ozone and how does it affect any ecosystem? So obviously ozone is what? It is that molecule which is basically formed by that of the ecosystem, which is formed by the ecosystem. How? Because ultraviolet radiation when fall on the oxygen molecule break down into two free oxygen atom, and this oxygen atom again combined with the O2, and finally there is a formation of a ozone. Similarly, how does it affect, students? Absolutely, it work as a shield in order to prevent the amount of ultraviolet radiation to fall on the surface of the earth, and it will help in reducing the skin problems or skin cancer to the person. How can you help in reducing the problem of a waste disposal? There are different ways. The people must be aware. They must know the differences between that of a biodegradable and non-biodegradable method, and by using the free that is reducing, reuse, we can go through the non-biodegradable, and then by vermicomposting, by composting. These are the things which we can use for the reducing the waste, biodegradable waste material. Okay. So this is the method by which we can reduce the amount of the garbage in our place. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter, students. See here, a question is of a biological magnification. We have seen that what is the biological magnification. So the chemicals which is consumed by that of the first trophic level of the organism, it will be carried by the first to second to third, and every time the percentage is increasing, and this is we call means accumulation of the chemical will keeps on increasing at every trophic level. So we can see when we compare it with the first trophic level to that of the fourth trophic level, we will find it that the amount of the chemical, the accumulation of the chemical or the amount of the chemical will be higher in the fourth trophic level rather than in the first one. Okay, so this is how we can define or we can explain the biological magnification. Okay. What are the problems that are caused by the non biodegradable waste that we generate? Yes, there are a lot. First of all, when the plastic is not cannot be disposed of for a million year, and it will sometime it will be used up or consumed by the cattle animals, and it will choke and causes the death of the ruminants, as well as this will going to